Okay, a few years ago, scientists made some experiments and looked at different chemicals and how they change our human biology, especially the biology of man. They looked at the water, they looked at plastic, they looked at the air, so with the air pollution and all the gases which are there, all the small particles. They found something extremely interesting. All those particles, all those chemicals have, how should I say it? They fuck us. So basically they fuck us. So for like, you must realize, like 100 years ago, the average testosterone level of man was 1000. Now it's like 400. So it's worse than split in half. And basically those chemicals in our environment, in our water, in our air, cause that shift. They called those chemicals estrogenics because they have a similar function as the female sex steroid hormone, which is estrogen. For males it's testosterone, as you might already know. So when those chemicals mimic this hormone estrogen, they basically feminize men. As far as I know, for women this doesn't have a really, for women this doesn't really have a bad effect. So, but for us men, this really changes our biology. We have plastics in our environment. For example, my clothing right now is partly made of plastic, sadly. Those plastics basically can go through our skin. You might know all those skin care products you rub on your skin. They can go through your skin, so your skin isn't like a barrier where nothing can go through. The plastics go through our skin, in our bloodstream. And we have estrogen receptors, so when the estrogen hormone binds to those receptors, it has the effect. Those plastics mimic the function, so they also bind to the estrogen receptors. This basically mimics the function of the female hormone. And as we all know, what are the functions? Women grow boobs, their hips get wider, they have almost no testosterone in their bodies. And what do we see with men nowadays? Bro, most men have boobs nowadays. If you're watching this, also have. I don't want to shame on you, but now you know where this comes from. So there are multiple types of those chemicals. So one type of those plastics is called BPA. You have already heard it probably. On some packaging you see at the supermarket, BPA free. BPA free means basically that this ugly ass chemical which causes, I think it was the erectile dysfunctions and lowering in testosterone. It's free from this chemical. Sounds good, right? Sounds good, right? No. They just use another chemical, which also is basically plastic. So this chemical is then called BPS or PSP or PS Vita, I don't know. Those chemicals have basically the same or even worse effect. So don't let those companies bullshit you. BPA free is a scam. Now, they have also this I think they're called it's difficult to pronounce, phthalates. Let's just call them like that. So, those basically fuck you even more. So, BPA makes things hard. except of your dick. It makes it soft because you get erectile dysfunctions. Phthalates make basically plastic soft. So when you have like a water bottle, those water bottles you can buy at the supermarket filled with those ugly ass soft drinks. Phthalates make that like squishy and soft, so it's really easy to transport. Now they fuck up your hormones even more. I guess it's even a little bit worse. So some rule of thumb you can have in your head is like, the softer the plastic, the softer your dick gets. So like, this is actually a really bad kind of plastic. I think it's like polyester. It's definitely not cotton or something you should use. Now, how do we avoid this? Now, how do we avoid all those estrogenics in plastic? Now, the best idea is basically buy cotton clothing, because like polyester and nylon are both basically just plastic. Another thing is, like, when you buy a bottle, make sure it's made of glass or steel, or don't eat from a plastic plate, and just slowly but surely remove the plastic. But it's almost impossible to remove them completely. I mean, the phone I'm recording this video right now is made of plastic. My clothing plastic, my shoes plastic. Even my dog. You see it? Even my dog wears plastic on it. So it's almost impossible to avoid it completely. But if you like already cut out like 80% of it over some years, you will see enormous shifts in your hormone levels. Now, the next big thing I want to talk about is birth control. So you've probably learned in school that when a woman takes birth control, it's basically hormones that make the woman's body believe that she's pregnant right now, and then she can't get pregnant. It's kind of weird. Now, those hormones don't stay in her body, or else she would be fucked. Now, those hormones get basically peed out sooner or later. But when they are peed out, they don't get filtered out of the water. So in our drinking water, there are birth control hormones. So I don't know how old you are, probably like between 13, 18 or something. While your mother was pregnant, she drank the water with birth control in it. And mine did too. So also your pregnant wife in a few years, or very soon, don't know how old you are, she will also drink this birth control water, which makes her unable to get pregnant, which basically could have some effects on the child, as they could have. Now, if you're a bit like me, this sounds disgusting and you would want to avoid this. Now, there are those filters online you can buy. They are called reverse osmosis. So they basically filter everything from your water that shouldn't be in there. So even some minerals, they just filter it out, all the shit. Now, in your drinking water there's also this chemical called fluoride. So fluorides, you have already heard, this is what they put on purpose in toothpaste, because it's a little bit good for dental health. But listen to me, those are also estrogenic, so they also bind to your receptors in your body. Now, this is what you haven't learned in school. I remember like in school there was this crocodile puppet with some dentists in it. It was kind of funny, and they like teach children how to brush your teeth properly, and I think it's actually a good idea to teach children that. Didn't really work for me well. But those also bind to receptors, and this reverse osmosis filter also filters them out. So it's a win-win. But lucky me actually lives in the region of Austria, which is extremely low in those fluorides. So I guess I should still sooner or later install one of those filters. I've heard like when you install one of those, the estrogen levels, which are way too high in your body, split in half. You've probably already played Minecraft. So Minecraft, with this game with like zombies and building and shit, there's this border sooner or later. When you look at the distance, there's this horizon, this fog you can't see through anymore. And the distance this fog is away is basically your render distance of the world. When you go to some eastern country, everybody says, I would love to have a vacation there. Yo. You see or something? Basically this now exists in real life now. What did you see? Okay. Basically this also exists in real life now. So when you go to come. Basically this also exists in real life now. So this fog basically is made from all the air pollution in the air. So when you go to a bigger city in some eastern country, then look at the horizon far in the distance, there's this fog. But this fog isn't really there. When you go to the place where it looks like there's a fog, there isn't. It's just all the air pollution in between block the light from coming from this place to this place. So when you then go to the place where it looks like there's a fog, and then look at the city, then it looks like at the city there's the fog, but the fog is actually everywhere. Those are those small particles which are everywhere in the air. So I would love to give you like this life hack: just install a air filter in your home. Maybe that's actually an option. But what I recommend is you just search. You can look this up actually. When you look at air pollution, then go to pictures, you see the countries which aren't so much contaminated. So if you like live in India, you're fucked. India is basically the worst place possible. China also isn't so good. The east of the United States also doesn't look so good. But when you live like on the countryside in Britain or in Austria, I think Switzerland would also be awesome, or Iceland, I guess there you are pretty safe. I guess Europe is all in all a pretty good country for that. So since I live in Austria, I guess I'm pretty safe from this. Now when you go to some country like that where the air pollution is really bad, you might notice that you start spitting blood and are bad at breathing and don't feel so good, and your health gets way worse. And and your health gets way worse. This is mostly because of the air pollution. This is something which would offend my whole home country, and I can't really talk with anyone here about this. But beer has this plant called hop in it. Wait, I think it actually grows here. I'll tell you when I see one. Okay, I'll tell you when I see a plant. This plant, hop or hops, it's called in English. It basically contains estrogen. So you've already probably heard that some plants contain estrogen, like soy is a classic. Oh, soy is so evil. Soy. It's so bad. But the estrogen in hop is actually 50 times worse. 50 times worse. 50 times a stronger effect on your estrogen receptors. I think it actually grows here. So if you drink beer, so beer is actually known to you get a beer belly. And everybody says like, it's because of the calories. But I don't think so. I believe that beer just has way too much estrogen inside. I mean, all those guys who love drinking beer, mostly the guys here on the countryside said, mostly the guys who live more at the countryside and yet, yeah, alcohol, yeah, I'm so cool, I smoke. They all got tits, man. Bro, they all got huge tits, man. Remember, avoid plastics as good as possible. Buy one of those filters when you have the money for it, but you must realize, I mean, it's like $600 for one of those filters. It sounds very expensive, but you install it once and it lasts like for, let's just say 10 years or something. 10 years, no birth control in your body. 10 years, your wife doesn't consume hormones which make her unable to get pregnant. 10 years, less estrogen. Like, bro, this is a huge investment, bro. This is a perfect investment, bro. Like at Christmas time or something, I will also buy one of those filters. I'm not gonna lie to you, I still haven't installed it because I'm a little bit broke right now. So, like at Christmas time, I will install one of those and look at my health metrics. I see my estrogen is already a little bit low for the average Austrian, but that means that it's actually still too high. But it means that it's actually still too high because the average Austrian drinks beer. It works smarter and harder.